Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Scott's Thoughts. I'm Scott Benedict. One of the things I was thinking about recently is how most brands really obsess over their star rating on their digital PDP pages. Fact is that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. But very few brands also manage review velocity, the number of reviews. In today's digital commerce environment, that may be one of the more expensive blind spots, if you will, in retail, because reviews aren't just social proof anymore. They're actually algorithmic fuel. They drive how algorithms think. Let me dive a little deeper on that. We've known for years that ratings and reviews influence conversion. That's not new news. It's been around for quite some time. But the deeper story is what they do to discoverability currently and now in the emerging AI commerce era. Research that I've been reading recently shows that moving from 0 reviews to even 50 reviews can drive an average sales uplift approaching 80% or more. That's a pretty big number. What's even more interesting, increasingly review velocity, the percentage of new reviews added each month, can drive sales lifts up to 20 to as much as 30%. And that's the part that most brands and most retail organizations underestimate, if you will. Fresh reviews don't just influence shoppers, they also influence search rankings. Now let's think about what's happening behind the scenes. Retail algorithms on retailers' websites reward relevance, engagement, sales momentum, and signs or signals of trust on the part of the consumer. Reviews really feed all 4 of those elements. When a product accumulates reviews quickly, especially early in its life cycle, it gains organic ranking positions. It spends more time on page 1, a pretty good thing. It attracts more clicks. It converts more efficiently. And that just then reinforces the whole sales velocity flywheel, if you will. It's kind of like that flywheel metaphor, and yet most brands treat reviews as something that just happens after purchase instead of something that is actively managed as a lever of growth. There's also a psychological and algorithmic threshold that also matters now in modern commerce. Products crossing into the 4-star and above range see measurable lifts in sales performance. The majority of marketplace sales concentrate in that 4-star and above band. So this really isn't vanity metrics or something that impresses your boss, no matter what role you have in the retail ecosystem. It's about clearing minimum credibility thresholds, not only for the consumer, but for their algorithms as well. Because what's below that threshold, you're not just less attractive to shoppers, you're also less competitive in search. That's not a good thing. Here's what leadership, I argue, needs to really lean in on in modern commerce. If review velocity drives ranking, conversion, and the efficiency of your paid media campaigns, then a review strategy should not just sit quietly somewhere inside the customer service team. It should sit inside of the growth strategy for your category or for your brand or for your business. And here's what that means. Launching plans that prioritize early review acceleration is pretty important. Post-purchase programs that should drive more review recency. In other words, more reviews driven off of purchase volume. Monitoring of negative review trends before the overall ratings start to dip too low, and aligning review health with retail media activation. Because if you're driving traffic to a product with either thin reviews or declining reviews, you're really spending money to amplify weakness. Now, later on, what's happening with AI, and this topic becomes even more important. Retailers are increasingly summarizing reviews using generative AI tools. Answer engines are synthesizing shopper sentiment in real time, which means structured, fresh, high quality review content will increasingly shape how your product is described, not just how it's rated. Your reviews are becoming part of the machine readable layer of modern commerce. Velocity matters more, I would argue, than ever before. So here's a little question for brand leaders. Are you tracking your star rating over time, or are you managing your review velocity? Because in the digital shelf era, I would argue trust isn't a passive element. It's in fact compounding. The brands that understand that, well, I would argue that they're positioned better to win. That's some of the things I've been thinking about. I'm Scott Benedict.